Sripada Srivallabha Charitamrutam, Chapter 13. The Account of Ananda Sharma. I proceeded towards Kurvapuram after taking permission from Subbaya Shreshti. I reached a village by the time of nightfall. I was thinking as to which house I should go to collect alms of food. I saw a Brahmin comfortably seated on a flat terrace outside his house. He was in conversation with people sitting by his side. His eyes were very bright. Compassion was flowing fully from his eyes. He invited me cordially into his house and offered me meals. After I finished the meals, he began to tell me, "My child, I am called Ananda Sharma. I practice devotedly Gayatri Mantra. A short while ago, Mother Gayatri appeared to my internal eye and told me that the devotee of Datta is arriving. She asked me to offer that visitor sumptuous meal and that I would derive punya when I see Lord Datta. Everything took place as told by her. I am extremely happy." I told him, "Swami, I am only a Datta of devotee. Having heard that Lord Datta is presently moving on earth under the name of Sripada Srivallabha, I am going to Kurvapuram to have his darshan. My name is Shankara Bhatt. I am a Brahmin from Karnataka." The description of the hermitage of sage Kanva. Ananda Sharma laughed on hearing my words. He said, "Sir, one Avaduta came to our house at the time my father was performing my thread ceremony. My people extended all services to him. He explained many matters related to the practice of Gayatri Mantra. He directed us to visit Nrsimha Deva in Penchala Kona, that is, Bruhatsila Kona. My father took me to Penchala Kona. After seeing Nrsimha Deva there, unexpectedly my father was absorbed in meditation. That meditation went on for many days and nights. I was afraid. I became hungry. Some stranger gave me food. He took me through unpenetrable forest paths in some hilly caves. Then he disappeared. I saw an old hermit in that cave. His eyes were like blazing fireballs. He was being served by 101 sages. That old hermit told me he was Kanva Maharshi and that the areas were his land of penance and that his disciples, though appeared young, were thousands of years old. He added that on account of the great punya earned by seeing Lord Datta in Avaduta form, I could come to that Tapo Bhumi, that is, a land of penance. With astonishment and great delight, my speech was lost. Body was shivering. Then sage Kanva said like this, "Now Lord Datta is in the form of Sripada Srivallabha in Pitakapuram. You convey our submission to the Lord to kindly take care of us. May you have the darshan of Sripada Srivallabha at the earliest." He blessed thus and placed his sacred hand on my head. I was transported to my father in a trice. After my father came back to normalcy, both of us went to our village. I did not disclose to my father my experience in the ashram of sage Kanva or the fact that the new incarnation of Lord Datta was in Pitakapuram. The holy kshetra Pitasachala near Rajamundri. Time was passing by. Due to the efficacy of the blessing of sage Kanva, I was getting a vision of Padakas in my meditation. Once, some relations came to our house. They had a desire to take bath in holy rivers and visit holy pilgrim centers. They wanted my father to accompany them. At that time, I was 10 years old. My father was very much fond of me, so he asked me to come along with him. I agreed. Rajamahendravaram city is on the banks of river Godavari. On hills situated north of Rajamahendravaram, some sages were doing penance. Some more sages were undertaking penance on the hills located on the eastern side. Holy Patisachala Kshetra is in the midst of river Godavari and is situated at the distance from Rajamahendravaram. During Mahashivratri, some of these sages used to recite Vedic hymns in Pattisachala Kshetra and in Kotilinda Kshetra of Rajamahendravaram. All these sages who were coming from east, west, north, and south directions used to meet in the midway of a village called Yeduralapalli. They used to take rest in the village called Munikodali, which was very near to Yeduralapalli village. There they were engaged in mutual discussions. On account of my good fortune, I could visit Munikodali village along with my father. All this was the divine play of Lord Sri Datta. Sripada Sri Vallabha is the first and foremost incarnation of Sri Dattatreya in Kali Yuga. Most profound philosophical matters, scriptures of Yoga Shastra and astrological subjects came for discussion there. All the great sages who participated in those discussions unanimously declared that Lord Sri Datta took incarnation under the name of Sripada Sri Vallabha in Pitakapuram, and his is the first and foremost comprehensive incarnation of Datta in Kali Yuga. They also told that those who cannot see him physically could see him in their hearts through the process of meditation, and that this incarnation was extremely peaceful and completely filled with compassion. Then my father took me to Pitakapuram. The group of scholars who accompanied us took bath in the Padagaya Tirtha and visited and worshipped various deities in the Kukateshwara temple. From there, they proceeded to the house of Sri Bapannarya, chanting Vedic hymns. Sri Bapannarya and Sri Appalaraja Sharma met us along with the group of scholars, chanting Vedic hymns. It was a very enchanting spectacle. It is impossible to witness such divine and beautiful scenes unless one had to his credit the fruits of good deeds performed in the past lives. Description of the divine and auspicious form of Sri Sripada. Then a feast was arranged for all of us in the house of Sri Bapannarya. By that time, the age of Sri Sripada Vallabha did not exceed 5 years. In that tender age, with milk oozing all over, the divine child was very bright, very lustrous, very handsome, and very tall. Infinite love and mercy were flowing from his twin eyes as a big stream. When I touched his prosperous feet, he placed his bending hand of assurance on my head. He blessed me, Ananda Sharma, saying, "My grace will be on you in this and all succeeding births. In your final birth, you will become an Avaduta under the name Venkaya. May you shine well by constantly keeping sacrificial fire, capable of making rains shower during drought, and capable of solving the worldly difficulties of householders." Then I said to him, "The more I hear the divine plays of Sri Sripada, they appear more and more strange and peculiar. Kindly tell me the secrets about the devoted pursuit of Gayatri Mantra." The description of the efficacy of all the letters of Gayatri Mantra. Ananda Sharma expatiated thus: "The Gayatri Shakti is a power pervading all over the universe. By that, all the treasures in the fields connected with body, mind, and soul can be obtained. Nerves from the different organs of the body spread all throughout the body. When some nerves join together, that group center of nerves is called a Grandhi. Different forces are concentrated in the various Grandhis of the body. When those mantras are chanted by those who are adepts in Japa Yoga, the forces lying concentrated in Grandhis are manifested. Om, when this is chanted at 6 inches area on the head. Bhu, when this is chanted at 4 inches area above the right eye. Bhuvaha, when this is chanted at 3 inches area above the third eye of the man. Suvaha, when this is chanted at 4 inches area above the left eye. The Shakti is awakened. These following seed words are to be uttered for the purposes shown against them. 1. To awaken the Sapalya power embedded in Tapani Grandhi in the area of Agna Chakra. Sacred word Tat. 2. To activate the Parakrama force embedded in the Sapalata Grandhi in the left eye. Sa. 3. To activate the Palana power concentrated in the Vishwagandhi in the right eye. V. 4. To rouse the power Mangalakaram concentrated in Tusti Grandhi in the left ear. Tuhu. 5. To achieve the power yoga enshrined in Varada Grandhi of right ear. Va. 6. To achieve the power Prema concentrated in Revati Grandhi in the base of the nose. Re. 7. To activate the force Ghana lying in the Shushma Grandhi in the upper lip. Ni. 8. To activate Teja power lying in the Jnana Grandhi in the lower lip. Yam. 9. To activate Rakshana power concentrated in Bharga Grandhi in the throat. Bhar. 10. To achieve Buddhi power concentrated in the Gomati Grandhi in the gullet. Go. 11. To rouse the power Damanam lying in the Devaki Grandhi in the upper portion of the left side chest. De. 12. To rouse the power Nista concentrated in the Varahi Grandhi lying at the upper portion of the right side chest. Va. 13. To activate the Dharana force concentrated in Simhini Grandhi positioned in the place where the side ribs at the end join in the upper portion of stomach. Sya. 14. To activate the Prana Shakti concentrated in Dhyana Grandhi of liver. Dhi. 15. To activate Samayama force concentrated in the Maryada Grandhi in the spleen. Ma. 16. To rouse Taposhakti concentrated in Sputa Grandhi of navel. He. 17. To activate the Shakti of Durdasita in the Medha Grandhi lying at the end of spinal cord. Dhe. 18. To activate the force Antarnihita concentrated in the Yoga Maya Grandhi on the left shoulder. Yo. 19. To rouse the Uptadana Shakti concentrated in the Yogini Grandhi of the right shoulder. Yo. 20. To rouse the Sarasata power concentrated in the Dharani Grandhi of right forearm. Naha. 21. To activate Adarsha power lying in Prabhava Grandhi in the left forearm. Pra. 22. To activate Sahasa power lying in the Ushma Grandhi of right wrist. Chu. 23. To rouse Viveka power concentrated in the Drausya Grandhi of the right palm. Da. 24. To awaken Seva Shakti concentrated in the Niranjana Grandhi of left palm. Yat. In this way, there is a close connection between the 24 letters of Gayatri Mantra, 24 Grandhis located in the various areas of our body, and the 24 kinds of Shaktis concentrated in those Grandhis. Number 9 indicates the changeless Brahma Tattva, that is, nature of Brahma. Number 8 indicates the Maya Tattva, that is, nature of illusion. Do Chapati Dev Lakshmi. An explanation to that sentence. Sri Sripada used to accept 2 chapatis, that is, wheat cakes, from the houses of those whom he liked. He was calling Do Chaupati Dev Lakshmi instead of Do Chapati Dev Lakshmi. In this, Do sound indicates the number 2. Chau indicates the number 4. Patidev sounds point to the Parameshwara, suggesting number 9, and Lakshmi sound suggests the form of Maya indicated by the number 8. Therefore, 2, 4, 9, 8 is formed as a mysterious figure. Sri Sripada used this number to indicate that he is the mother, Gayatri, Paramatma and Parashakti. Then I said, Swami, I understood to some extent as to what you told me about the 24 letters of Gayatri Mantra. You told that number 9 represents Paramatma and 8 represents the phenomenon of Maya. Explanation of the number 9. Then Ananda Sharma said, Dear Shankara, but Paramatma is beyond this universe. He is not subjected to any changes. 9 is a strange number. When 9 is multiplied with 1, the product comes as 9. 9 multiplied by 2 gives 18 as product. When 1 is added to 8, the total comes to 9. Likewise, 9 into 3 gives 27, and 2 plus 7 again becomes 9. Likewise, when 9 is multiplied by any number, the sum of the different numbers in that product will become 9 only. In this way, 9 signifies the changeless Supreme Self. Explanation of Gayatri. Not only that, Gayatri Mantra is like the celestial tree. The Om in that incantation is the base trunk that comes out of the earth. By reciting Omkara, one can obtain knowledge about the existence of God and the devotion towards God. The main trunk has developed into 3 branches as Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. Bhu is capable of imparting knowledge of self. Bhuva suggests the karma yoga to be followed by a living being when he holds a body. Swaha helps in maintaining equipoise in all pairs of opposites and attain samadhi sthiti. From the branch Bhu, 3 sub-branches, That, Savitu, Varenyam comes out. That gives wisdom of life to the individual. Savitu gives strength to the bodily being. And Varenyam helps man to transcend animal instincts and transform into a divine personality. From the branch Bhuvaha, 3 sub-branches, Bhargo, Devasya, Dhimahi originated. Bhargo enhances purity. Devasya bestows supernatural sight possible only for celestials. Dhimahi improves good qualities. From the branch Swaha, 3 sub-branches, Dheyo, Yonaha, Prachodayat, branched off. Dhiyo develops discrimination. Yonaha develops restraint. And Prachodayat develops spirit of service in all living creatures. Therefore, it is now understood by you that Gayatri, the celestial tree, has 3 branches and each branch has 3 sub-branches. So, 2, 4, 9, 8 is a figure which denotes Sri Sripada Vallabha. I have explained to you the significance of number 9 in that figure. Explanation of number 8. Number 8 is of the nature of Maya. This is verily the nature of Mother Anagha. 8 multiplied with 1 gives 8. 8 multiplied by 2 gives 16. In this, if 1 is added to 6, it gives 7. This is lesser than 8. If 8 is multiplied by 3, 24 is derived. In this, if 2 is added to 4, it gives 6, which is lesser also than 8. Likewise, when 8 multiplied by any number, the sum of the different numbers in that product always becomes either equal to 8 or less than 8. In this way, the attribute of withdrawing the strengths of all living beings in the creation rests in the Universal Mother. Maya phenomenon has the power to devalue any person, however great, and show him to the world in that depressed form. Sripada Sri Vallabha is the personification of Mother Gayatri. He is Sri Datta in the company of his consort Anagha Devi. Those who worship him with mind, speech, and actions obtain all desires. In the early morning, Brahmi Shakti seated on a swan. In the afternoon, Vaishnavi Shakti seated on an eagle, that is Garuda. And in the evening, Shambhavi Shakti riding on a bullock dwell in Mother Gayatri. The presiding deity of Gayatri incantation is Savita Devi. As a result of Savitru Kataka Chayanam, performed by sage Bharadwaja in Treta Yuga in Pitakapuram, Sripada Sri Vallabha incarnated in Pitakapuram. Savita Devi assumes the form of Rigveda in the early morning. In the afternoon, she takes the form of Yajurveda. In the evening, she will be in the form of Samaveda and as Atharvana Veda during night. Sun, who is visible to our eye, is only a symbol. When yogis attain the zenith of spiritual achievement, they can have a vision of very brilliantly shining, triangular shaped Brahma Yoni. Out of it, crores and crores of Brahmandas originate every moment. They are protected and also destroyed every moment. In this fashion, creation, sustenance, and liquidation go on every moment. The force of Savita, which creates, maintains, and destroys these countless universes, is called Savitri. Nevertheless, Gayatri and Savitri are inseparable. Fire used for burning corpses is called Lohita. Fire used for cooking food is called Rohita. In the same way, a great force is functioning as Gayatri and Savitri in the worldly and otherworldly stages. In the process of evolution of living creatures, there are many necessities relating to this world. All of them are fulfilled by grace of Mother Savitri. Spiritual advancement of the living beings is achieved through the grace of Mother Gayatri. A synthesis is required to enjoy all comforts and pleasures in this mundane world and to experience the divine bliss of the liberated state in the other world. Those who take refuge in the lotus feet of Sripada achieve the advantages of both the worlds. This is precisely the difference between devotion of Sri Datta and the devotion of other deities. I felt that whatever the great Sri Ananda Sharma narrated was unique. Then I said, "Oh sir, you are very fortunate. I heard that Sri Sripada would take the incarnation of Sri Nrsimha Saraswati. I also heard that in that incarnation he would accept Sri Krishna Saraswati as preceptor. What a strange thing it is." Sri Ananda Sharma continued his narration. The incarnation of God comes only for the sake of devotees. On assuming a human form, he would practice and teach how a superhuman being should conduct himself. The station of renunciates had to be uplifted. If he wants to become an ascetic, a preceptor is required. That guru should be fully worthy and qualified. Out of crores, only one person will be worthy of being a preceptor to a person who is verily an incarnation. In the family where an incarnate person was born, 80 generations get salvation. In that family, plenty of punya would fall into several heaps. In the same way, the family of the person who would be the guru of that incarnate person should also be very pious. In Tanaku, a great person by name Mayanacharya was born in the family of Vajepayajalu. Srimati was his wife. They were a pious couple. After some time, they were living in Mangalapuram in the area of Nandikotturu. Mahadeva, Sayana, and Bhoginath were born to them. Mahadeva became Vidyaranya to restore Sanatana Dharma. the great sage Bapanarya drew power from the solar region and invested it in Sri Saila Mallikarjuna Mahalinga. In reality, the Sri Charan of Sri Datta incarnated on Sri Mountain. The advent of the glorious Charan of Sri Sripada on the Sri Mountain was a wonderful thing. The name of the mountain was Sri. The Charan of Sri Datta are Sri Charan. The name of Sripada Srivallabha is very much appropriate for this modern incarnation. There were relationships between the families of Bapanarya and Mayanacharya from many generations. People used to jokingly remark that a female child born in Maladi house would be the daughter-in-law of Vajayapayyajilu family, and a female child born in Vajayapayyajilu family would be the daughter-in-law in Maladi family. However, Bapanarya did not give in marriage his daughter Saubhagyavati Sumati Maharani to the family of Vajayapayyajilu. Inspired by fate and on account of divine decision, Bapanarya gave his daughter Akanda Lakshmi Saubhagyavati Sumati Maharani in marriage to Gandikota Appala Raja Sharma. Lord Datta was born as Sripada Srivallabha, and to redeem Vajayapayyajilu family, having blood relationship with his maternal grandfather, attracted Madhavacharya towards him. Affection for Sri Sripada overflowed in Madhavacharya. Madhavacharya evolved as sage Vidyaranya. His disciple was Malayananda and his disciple Devatirthulu. His disciple Yadavendra Saraswati and his disciple was Krishna Saraswati. Between Sri Vidyaranya and Sri Krishna Saraswati, there were three people. Sri Vidyaranya would be born as Krishna Saraswati and be the preceptor of Sri Sripada in his next incarnation. In future, Sri Vidyaranya will take birth in the family of his brother Sayanacharya under the name of Govinda Dikshita. He will be a saint prince and become the chief minister of Tanjore. This was the divine pronouncement of Sri Sripada. Sripada was always speaking truth. Once, Sumati Maharani was giving birth to Sri Sripada. At that time, Sri Venkatappaya Shreshti came there. On seeing him, Sri Sripada questioned, "Tata, do we belong to Markandeya lineage?" He did not reply, but laughed at the sweet words of Sripada and their ironical meaning. In fact, Sripada belonged to the Bharadwaja lineage and Venkatappaya Shreshti was from the Markandeya lineage. Sripada told in a veiled manner that he is the maternal grandson of Sri Venkatappaya Shreshti according to the mental perception. Mother Sumati, after bath, made a round with water and blessed Sripada. "May you live as long as Markandeya." The lifespan of Markandeya was only 16 years. With the grace of Shiva, he became a long-lived one. He suggested indirectly that he would stay only for 16 years with parents. After 16 years of age, Markandeya abandoned home and became a living hermit. Sri Sripada also stayed with parents for 16 years and thereafter became a world preceptor. He repeatedly asserted that he would conceal his body, that his body will have eternal life, and that he incarnated as the son of Anasuya and Atri in the past, in the same form of Sripada Srivallabha which was seen presently. The different forms of Sripada. Sripada used to externalize his yogic power and was appearing along with that yogic power personified as a female. Only Lord Datta could bring out Kundalini force in this way in the shape of a female. Bapanarya, Rajamamba, parents of Sripada, Narsimha Varma and his wife Venkatappaya Shreshti and some others had a vision of that fresh young couple below the age of 16 years. His parents who wanted to marry them, however, met with disappointment. He had already indicated in the very first meeting with Mother Sumati as an Avaduta that he would grant them the vision of a divine couple. Avaduta said to Mother Sumati, "Mother, Your son will be with you for 16 years. If you intend to marry him, he will not heed to you. On the other hand, he will abandon the house and leave. Therefore, conduct yourself according to his wishes. Sri Anaga and Sri Datta are ancient couple. They have no death or birth. They always reveal in divine sportive play the forms of Sri Pada, Sri Vallabha, Sri Narsimha Saraswati and Sri Swami Samartha. They remain as Ardhanarishwara, that is, half female and half male form of Ishwara. The fruits accruing from the worship for 40 days and Parayana of Sripada Sri Vallabha Charitamrita. This is a divine secret. There is a special significance in the incarnation of Sripada on Ganesh Chaturthi. Labha was the son of Sri Ganesha. During one kalpa, that is, a certain age, and yuga, he became famous as Labhada Maharshi. He was born as Nanda at the time of the incarnation of Sri Krishna. That Labha was born as the maternal grandfather of Sri Sripada at the time of incarnation of Sripada. Sripada incarnated after steadily retaining in his consciousness the attributes of Lord Vignesha in order to ward off all obstacles in the way of his devotees. He was born in the star Chitta. He disappeared in Kurvapuram in the star Hasta, which is the 27th star from Chitta. Devotees of Sri Sripada have to observe a vow for a mandala, that is 40 days, to remove the undesirable effects caused by the movement of 9 planets in the 27 stars as scanned from their horoscopes. If Sri Sripada is worshipped for a mandala with care and devotion, or if his biography is read devotedly during that period, all desires will be fulfilled. Mind, intellect, inclination, and ego are spreading their individual vibrations and pulsations in all 10 directions. It means that their vibrations are broadcast separately in 40 directions. If these vibrations in all the 40 directions are arrested and diverted towards Sripada, they reach Sripada Sri Vallabha consciousness. There, they are properly reformed and transformed as prosperous vibrations and return to the aspirant. Then all the righteous wishes of the spiritual seeker are achieved. My child, Shankara Bhatt, I came to know through internal perception that you would write the biography of Sri Sripada. Generally, the Parayana books currently in the world contain the family details of the author and the different hosanas, etc. In the history of the Lord, which you are writing, description of your family details is unnecessary. Meditate upon the Lord, install Sri Sripada in your internal eye and write in a simple style easily understood by all. Then, whatever comes out of your writing instrument through the consciousness of Sri Sripada will only stand as truth. Books written in this sort of inspiration or mantras uttered in this manner of inspiration need not be subjected to the regulations of grammar or prosody. Some of the great devotees praised in the local language and with ordinary common words when they had the vision of the Almighty. They violated even the common rules of grammar. Even then, those stotras, that is, prayers praising God, had to be recited in that manner only. Desired result cannot be obtained if alterations are made to suit the rules of grammar. The strength of Lord's grace remain in the words of the devotee which pleased him, and he granted boons. When we recite those stotras with their original words, our consciousness quickly reaches close to the divine consciousness. God is not pleased with externals. He is pleased with the inner feelings. Inner feelings is an eternal power. Please note it. Then I said, Swami, the post-lunch conversation about Sadhguru made me very happy. Please tell me some more details about the incarnation of Sri Sripada and make me gratified. Ananda Sharma said like this: Sri Sripada is very intimate to Maladi, Venkatappaya Shreshti and Vatsavai families, and he is having a bond of indebtedness which cannot be explained through language. Those three families had a lot of punya which was their strength. Therefore, Sripada was of the opinion that refusal of his father to accept money or materials given by those three families would cause difficulties. In accordance with the wish of Sripada, Appala Raja Sharma and Sumati Maharani were freely going to the houses of Maladi, Venkatappaya Shreshti and Vatsavai families, not only during festivals and important events but also during normal times. On one festive day, Sri Venkatappaya Shreshti invited the Appala Raja Sharma and his wife to his house. Sri Venkatappaya Shreshti kept Sri Sripada in his lap and was rocking in like a swinging cradle. Sri Shreshti was very serious on that day. There was a reason for that. There was a famous astrologer in Pitakapuram. He studied astrology in Odisha. There was no evidence to show that his predictions had ever gone wrong. He can indicate very accurately about the time of exit of life. He predicted that Shreshti would die from heart disease on a particular day at a particular hour and minute. He told that there was a close relationship between some herbs, planets, stars, and some sacred trees and yogic rituals. He added further that he would give a superior medicine and a talisman whereby the untimely death would be warded off. He advised Shreshti to remove Appala Raja Sharma and instead to choose him as a family priest. Shreshti rejected that suggestion. The astrologer made a vow that if his prediction were to go wrong, he would have his head shaved and paraded on a donkey. This matter was submitted to Appala Raja Sharma and Sri Bapannarya. Bapannarya worked on a complicated astrological calculations and disclosed that the threat of untimely death would be nullified by the intervention of divine power. Appala Raja Sharma worshipped Kalagni Shamana and gave that holy water as prasad. Mother Sumati, with a tranquil face, approached Shreshti, whom she considered as a paternal uncle. In the meantime, Shreshti had pain in the heart and cried, "Amma!" Mother Sumati, who was nearby, came running to him, saying, "My son, have you called me?" She touched the heart of Shreshti with her divine, auspicious and prosperous hand. Sri Sripada, who was in the lap of Shreshti, yelled loudly, "Go!" There was a buffalo in the house of Shreshti. Immediately it struggled violently and died in seconds. Shreshti was saved. This information went to the astrologer. He at once came running to the house of Shreshti. He inwardly felt very much sad that his great prophecy went wrong in a thrice. Sri Sripada said to the astrologer, "No doubt you are a great astrologer. You made a lot of study. I don't deny. Why should Shreshti have fear of death when I, a light of all lights, is here? You need not shave your head and parade on an ass. It is enough if you repent. Your father, when he was alive, took a loan from Shreshti. He lied that he had repaid that loan. He told that lie, that too by swearing upon goddess Gayatri. As a result, your father was born as a buffalo in the house of Shreshti. As Shreshti is a generous one, he was giving plenty of fodder to that buffalo. I granted a noble birth to your father who had an inferior birth. I transferred to the buffalo the fruits of past actions of Shreshti, who was to meet untimely death. You conduct funeral rites to that buffalo and also arrange free feast of food. The result of karma of your father gets destroyed and he attains a noble status." That astrologer followed the instructions of Sri Sripada very faithfully. My boy, Shankara Bhatt. Sri Sripada rescues his life in a variety of ways. Sometimes he reduces some lifespan of the ensuing birth and enhances lifespan in the present birth. Just as was done in the case of Shreshti, he can transfer the karma phala, that is, fruits of actions, from one being to another. The lifespan of the person can also be increased by transferring some lifespan from a well-wisher. In an extraordinary way, he can command death and grant life to the individual. Sri Sripada is a complete incarnation of yoga. A yogi stops growth, wear and tear and keeps life force in his control. Nothing is impossible for him. It is easy to achieve liberation by breaking the course of inhalation and exhalation. A Kriya Yogi sends his life force through Agna, Vishuddha, Anahata, Manipura, Swadhisthana and Mooladhara regions of the body and also rotates it upward to downward divisions and vice versa. The time required for one Kriya equals to the natural spiritual development in 1 year. My child, if 1000 Kriyas are performed in 1/3 of the total day for 3 years, a spiritual development equal to the natural process obtained in 10 lakh years is achieved. When it is mentioned in Puranas about yogis who undertook penance for many thousands of years, it must be understood that it refers to the time naturally required for nature in the process of that evolution. Then it must be understood that the actual time taken by yogis and the time required for evolution to come about naturally are different. Brahma gives longevity to every living being and fixes the number of breaths, but he will not fix it in terms of years. During bad traits like anger and emotion, breath is heavily expended. Thereby, longevity decreases. Monkey which has mental instability takes more number of breaths. Tortoise which lives for 300 years takes in a given time 1/8 of the breath taken by the monkey. I became very wise by the good conversation with Ananda Sharma. In the morning, after finishing morning activities, I took permission of Ananda Sharma and started towards Kurvapuram for the darshan of Sripada Sri Vallabha.